Yeah, windshield time. It's only about 3:40 in the morning, but been a little while since the last one. Still get encouraging messages or emails in reference to it, so I figured I'd stick another one out here. And it's just so happens that yesterday, the day before yesterday, I had a offline conversation that had spurred from a story that I'd shared, and it was the title of the story was "Concealed Carry Owner Dies," and it was a teaser title, dies and here's why kind of thing. And it was the cliff notes of the story was there was a guy, I believe it was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or just outside Albuquerque, that went out into his yard at night where two guys were stealing some stuff out of his vehicle. He confronted them. They stabbed him several times and he ended up dying. And it was the part of the story was that he was a licensed concealed carry holder, but he was outside of his house and didn't have his gun on. And this guy had jumped on one of the media outlets that I had shared the story on, that, well, we shouldn't have guns, and if we weren't a gun culture, this wouldn't happen, and all these other things. And it's, first off, the guy was stabbed to death. So he went off on this rant about how the gun culture, and this guy died because of that. No, this guy died because he was stabbed to death. The point I was trying to make was, if he's a concealed carry holder, and it is very unfortunate that he met an untimely death, that is bothersome. Without a doubt, it's bothersome. But it comes down to, as I'm talking to this guy and we're messaging back and forth, and I'm trying to educate him a little bit, say, hey, look, you can't. And I asked him a couple of questions. I said, hey, you wear a seatbelt every time you get in a car? Well, yes. Okay, do you have kids? He had 2 kids. Do you have a fire plan for the kids? Kids are taught, how to evac a school bus if there's they got, all the kids getting to jump out of the back of the school bus and learn that. I said, do you have a rally point? Do you have a house fire in your apartment or your townhouse or whatever? Do you meet by the large oak tree, or do you go to the playground, or whatever? Well, yeah. I said, well, how come you don't have a plan, a very simple plan of how to protect yourself and your family? You'll protect your kids by strapping them in the car. You'll put a seatbelt on. You have a fire plan. Kids learn how to jump out of the back of the school bus. There's all of these contingency plans put in place, natural disasters, all of these things, tornado, all the kids are taught to, whatever, get in the bathtub, go to the safe room, go to the basement, go interior walls, we teach them all that. But this guy, maybe I made a little bit of an impression on him, but it seemed that it did not. But it's, so there's 2 points. One, the education. I've said it before, education begins in the home, education begins when they're young. All of my kids from the age of 19 down to 6, they've all grown up around guns. There's a broke retired cop that lives in the house. There's a current active law enforcement officer, cop that lives in the house, because my wife still is on the job. Working at FN, working for the government, obviously what I do now, guns all over the place. Now, when I say guns are all over the place, people don't freak out, because I don't have loaded guns laying all over the place where kids can get a hold of them. But there's rifle projects, optics projects, all these other things going on. So there's unloaded guns around. They are a daily part of our household. But at no point in time did my kids where they showed some sort of interest. Dad, can I see this? Dad, can I touch it? Can I pick it up? Can I hold it? Every single time that happened, I stopped whatever I was doing and I sat down with them and made sure that they knew how to make sure it was clear. Nothing in the magazine, well, nothing in the chamber, physical and visual inspection, doing all of that. And then it's And for the most part, it was something simple. Just wanted to hold it. You know, the fascination was removed from guns. It wasn't a creepy thing stuck in the corner behind the door. It wasn't, you know, they're locked away. All of them are locked away, and you can't ever touch them. Well, most of them are, but there's some around. So I removed that fascination and the temptation of, well, I can only touch it when mom and dad aren't paying attention, and I'm never allowed to touch it. So it's like stealing cookies from the cookie jar. It's educate and allow them to have that. But if you remove the temptation, if you made cookies taste bad or made cookies taste uninteresting, then kids wouldn't beg for them all the time. So remove that temptation and that want for that thing, and it's just like in the school back in the 40s and 50s into the 60s. Thank goodness there's still some schools that have shotgun programs, but that education started back then. When I was in high school, I could legally take a note from my folks into the high school administration and the principal, and I could be legally excused from the first day deer season. And we had guns in the truck on school property. I know that's hard for some people to believe, but in Western New York, in the late 80s and early 90s, completely fine with having, that was a way of life. So there's the educational portion of it, and then I don't know what drove that man to go outside at the threshold of his castle without his concealed carry-on, but it's one of those things where that has to become an extension of you. You have to get used to it, along with training and experience. Those are the two things that you need in order to make it feel like, back when I used to smoke. It's much like it is now. I don't leave the house without my wallet or my truck keys, and nowadays I don't leave the house without my phone or daggone both phones. But it should be that same way for you. It should feel like you lost your wallet if you're out somewhere and you don't have your keys. But it should be that way if you don't have your gun. I'm currently on my way to the airport, knowing that in the next 15 minutes I'm going to have to stow my EDC gun, and I will have a very uneasy, almost sickening feeling as I get on the shuttle to the airport, watch my guns disappear into the back room in a locked box as I get ready for this next trip. But it's that way not because I'm scared or I'm freaked out or I'm paranoid or anything. It's because I'm prepared. I'm driving through Richmond, which was at one point in time one of the high murder capitals of the world, and I'd prefer to have a gun on me because it's much like I can't tell when somebody's going to run into me. I'm not going to get a text or an email saying, hey, you need to put your seatbelt on because you're going to be driving to the airport this morning, you're going to get T-boned and your truck's going to roll over or whatever else. But I wear my seatbelt so I can prevent that. I have fire extinguishers in the house so I can prevent a fire. And the fire extinguishers are in the kitchen where fires generally happen. I have smoke detectors and fire alarms and all these other things that protect my family, much like a lot of other people do, but they don't take that extra step and protect themselves while they're outside their home. Can't say what would happen. I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback what happened to that gentleman in New Mexico. Very unfortunate. But it's, when you're around your home, when you're outside your home. I have a student, and you're probably listening to this, that I talked about. You should have your gun on you at it should be on you at all times. If I take my gun off me because I'm a human being and sometimes my back's aching and it's bothering me, I need that little bit of relief. I'm sitting at the computer staring at the screen for hours at a time, syllabus, writing a story, whatever it is, and I take my gun off, it's right next to the mouse. My strong hand is my right hand. I could literally roll my hand over and the back of my hand is going to touch my gun because it's there. Should the dog start barking, should whatever happen, something going on that I need my gun, I can pick it up and I can put it back inside my waistband and I can go do what I need to do. Because it's part of education and I'm used to it. It is a part of it is an extension of my body, much like my wallet, my cell phones, my keys, my knife, my flashlight. Those are things that I have to have on me when I go out. So it's, I don't go outside without a gun at my house, and I live in a very rural setting. Granted, if somebody was in my yard for some reason and they're not in some sort of a big brown truck or a FedEx truck or a post office, or you called and said, hey, I'm coming over, somebody in my yard, there's definitely something wrong. People don't just I don't get girls coming by selling Girl Scout cookies. Those people don't come to my house because I live out of the way. So it needs to be an extension of you. Education has to begin in the home. Kids got to be attuned to it, know it, remove the stigma, remove the curiosity of it. But on the other side of it, and that's for the benefit of that gentleman that I had the discussion with yesterday. But then the extension of your concealed carry, that should be on you. It's got to be near you. Got to educate yourself. Got to have the education. Got to have the sorry about that, railroad tracks. Got to get used to it. Got to get used to it being around, and it should bother you when it's not on you. So it's a little food for thought. And as I wrap up the tail end of this trip, I want you to remember, work that line item in your household budget for a little bit of ammunition, a little bit of training. Go out and get some training. My apologies for the creepy, dark, kind of subdued video, but I figured I'd knock this thing out before I go to the airport. So as always, train smart, train often, victory first.